About the same percentage of the population has access to affordable internet. So it's not just about technology, about access to information, but the fact that people are not being able to come online for a variety of barriers that have been raised throughout this event, it actually is increasing the exclusion and the inequalities that exist in a society now that is so based on digital development, digital technology, that unless we bring more people online, we really cannot allow these opportunities to exist. So for us, the key challenge, Belle, as you are asking, is not just the fact that we're talking about all of these opportunities, and most of the people that I'm working with actually don't have them, and are very far from being close to having them, especially women. If you don't know, women are actually 50% less likely to use the internet in developing countries as men, and worse, when they come online and have access to technology, they are 30 to 50% less likely to use it in empowering and productive ways. And I can tell you why later, but I'll stop there.
I think one of the biggest challenges we face in this world, and this is going to be even harder, is reality translation, which is every person has a different reality. And many times we get stuck in our own reality for the good and for the bad. Nur, what is your view on the challenges that you face here? I assume it's a different reality.
It's completely different. I feel for Sonia, and yet I think because UAE is so different, I think because our nation is moving so fast, my challenge or our challenge is just to keep up with all the opportunities that are unavailable to others. So we're given a free rein to go and run, and yet it's just not being able to maintain the speed that's going on.
How is it different? So people know exactly there are people from all over the world. Why is UAE so different?
I think we're blessed. I think we're a nation that has always given us an opportunity as women. Just being asked to be part of this panel, I've done a review of what we're going to discuss, and I'm like, okay, how do I relate to others? The UAE as is has 4 leading emirates, one of the 4 biggest emirates, run technology-wise by ladies. So Abu Dhabi is led by Dr. Roda, Dubai is led by Dr. Ash, Sharjah, I co-lead at my director, and Ajman is led by me. We've never had a gender inequality issue. It's always about who best fits. The challenge is only about technology and how we can use it best to probably lead as a country. How do we make life better for everyone, all citizens, not gender-wise.
But from that perspective, how can you add it to the other side?
I think it's very clear that year by year we're asked to actually develop, lead in technology so that we can help the rest of the world. I think Dubai has set an example by wanting to be the city that leads in blockchain and spread it to everyone else. Just to take that technology, enable it, enhance it, and then spread it. And I think our nation has always been into giving back to the whole world. Again, some of the challenges we're facing, as you said, everyone has their own reality. This is just an eye-opener of how even us as an emirate within the UAE can help others, even in a small manner.
Fantastic. Shalu, what about your experience? What are the challenges?
Yeah, so I live in Silicon Valley. I live in San Francisco. I'm surrounded by technology day in, day out. I wake up in the morning and I'm reading blockchain. I'm having artificial intelligence and machine learning for lunch. And at night, I'm just wondering, what am I going to have? Am I going to have big data? Am I going to have something else? But yet, my biggest challenge is the people who I'm surrounded with are very conservative in their thought process. So let me give you an example. When I go to schools, I am on board of a couple of schools in Silicon Valley, and when I go to meet the senior leadership there, they talk about textbooks, they talk about pencils, they talk about erasers. And my point to them is, Why are we not talking about digital education? Why are we still talking about notebooks? Why are we still talking about education system that's been in process for many, many decades? Majority of the board members are venture capitalists or private equity firms. Yet, they don't have the guts to challenge themselves to look beyond the conservative society that they live in. And to be honest, it actually irritates me a lot because what we are doing today is building a future for the next generation. And if we don't do it today, the next generation who's coming, who's right behind us, they're going to struggle because the world is going to move really fast. So the reality, Mel, is living in a technology island, or as they say, the heart of the world where the tech really sits. The people who I communicate with don't want to touch technology. And that's the dilemma. That's the irony.
I've been to Silicon Valley, I spent 3 years there. I know the reality, and sometimes, I mean, it goes to extremes, right? The ones who are in love with technology, they only hang around with these other companies who are trying to solve issues that are only issues of themselves. This is not the whole, I mean, I love Silicon Valley, changed my life, but there is a percentage of companies there trying to solve the problems of the other companies who are there, because you hang around with them, people, that becomes your life. Do you want to add something?
I hope you don't mind. We were going to have a conversation.
Yes.
We did. If we were having a conversation as we were this morning, and I hope we can do that. I mean, I think that's interesting, but to me, I would, again, raise my flag and say, hey, reality check.
Yes.
What are we talking about?
Yes.
I mean, that's not the world that I believe in. That's not the world, maybe we live in those places where, with that reality, which I think is really fascinating. But it also can teach us lots of lessons of what actually is not working so well.
Yeah,
and how to balance the amazing possibilities that technology can bring with other things that actually are quite important. One of the things that I remember last year when the World Bank, I don't know if you follow the World Bank Development Report, they did their big annual report called Digital Dividends around the internet economy. And one of the things that I thought was most fascinating, especially coming from an organization like the World Bank, was a reminder that no matter how you develop economies and societies from a digital perspective, you absolutely need the analog complements, as they called it. If you don't have the analog complements to allow to provide the foundation for digital development, you actually cannot get anywhere that is productive. And I think that's important. I mean, no school can be as good of a school if you don't teach kids to write by hand. I mean, teaching just to write on a computer is absolutely not very good. It's actually not good for the brain, and there's all sorts of other, I mean, many of you here are actually experts in education, I'm not. But as a mother, I can tell you that I certainly like that balance. And I think that's what also is important when it comes to our work.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Luna, what about your challenges? And I mean, over the past 25 years, they must have changed. You're in Bangladesh.
Yes.
You were not originally from the tech sector. You've been in tech for 25 years.
I am still waiting for the challenge to come. Honestly speaking, the country I come from, with over 160 million people, with the density of population is incredible. The other day they said the city itself had 44,000 people to 1 square mile. And in that scenario, even I am privileged to have had an education. I've had a privilege to be now sitting in this forum talking about Bangladesh or talking about technology. I mean, it's the people, I think a few years ago, about 5, 6, 7 years ago, 40% people were under $1 a day. And that is the country I come from. And if I have overcome it, because the country has given me that courage, there's political